How you doing? I'm BJ O'Neill, and welcome to Revelations. Now I'm going to start my timer for this one. I can be honest, this may go over because it's a very critical, very serious topic. So I want to make sure I don't rush it, and I help you understand what I'm trying to say as we talk about this topic. So what are we about to talk about? Well, I asked a friend of mine for an idea, and she asked me how to reestablish trust once it's been destroyed. So yeah, very crucial topic, and I want to make sure I hit on it and hit on it well. So how to reestablish trust once it's been destroyed, like kaput, kicked out, right? Now, first thing, let me tell you this. Both people share a big responsibility in that. The person that betrayed the trust has his load or her load carried out on her shoulders that she has to carry. But the person that loses trust has a feat ahead of them too that only they can be responsible for. And what I mean is that person that betrayed the trust can do everything in their powers to regain it. But if the person that had their trust betrayed doesn't do the work that they're supposed to do, then trust will never be reestablished, obviously. And vice versa. This person could say, okay, I give you the chance, but this person don't do it. You know, the person that betrayed the trust don't do what they need to do. Then again, it won't be reestablished. So what are those things that need to be done? Let's start with the person that betrayed the trust. It's very important that, and this can be in all kind of areas, right? You know, we're talking about relationships. There's many ways to have your trust betrayed. But that person that has betrayed the trust, one of the things they need to do is definitely sincerely apologize. It's a big thing to come to acknowledge you're wrong. You're wronging them. It's the first step. Second thing is now to not go through necessarily all the details of that being wrong, but try to not give an excuse, but show what made you capable of doing what you did. You know, if it was infidelity, you know, what was your thought life like? What were the things that drove you to do it? You know, do you have an issue? Were you feeling inadequate? Were you feeling like you were deprived? Now, while we're right there, first step for this person here, obviously you got to acknowledge they're asking for forgiveness. And now you really need to listen. Like I said, these are not excuses. They'll never be right for betraying your trust. But the reality is there are things that make us weak in moments, or we may have our weaknesses, we may have our shortcomings. And if we're going to proceed, like the goal is to proceed forward. See, there you go. We just getting started. If the goal is to proceed forward, then I have to really listen to what this person's telling me, because I can't just put it all on them. If I love them or I'm trying to make this work, I need to be involved in that. I need to understand exactly what it was. And I need to be able to look at self too. You know, if they felt deprived, I got to consider, am I depriving them? Not that again, you got to erase, in that point, you got to erase the thought that I'm going to tolerate it. That's not what you're doing. You're not saying, oh, I'm going to accept this because I didn't do my part. No, but if I want to prevent this in the future, I need to do my part. I can't just say, well, deprived or not, you need to not do that. No, see how selfish that sounds, right? So we don't want to do that. So we have to, it's a tough process. This whole process is very tough. But we have to really sit there and listen and decide, okay, what led you and how can I either help you prevent it? Whether if it was, like I said, he's like, oh, I just struggle with it. Okay, well, I'm going to love you through this, but I'm going to make sure we find some help, some counseling or whatever the case may be, to get you to help with that, you know, and whatever. So let's go back to this person. This person that betrayed the trust now may have to sacrifice some things. If it was, you know, like I said, interest on the phone or through internet, either they, you know, if it's, you know, everybody, not everybody, a lot of people are afraid of Facebook or just what things can happen. If you had a Facebook situation, you may either not have an account anymore, make that sacrifice, or, you know, give them your password. You know, is that needed in every relationship? Not necessarily, but if you've done something to determine that, you know, you're not as trustworthy, show that sacrifice that you'll give it up. Again, if you're trying to do everything right, you can't have pride sitting in the way. Because if you're going to do everything right or work your best to do everything right and want that person to hold you accountable, you want them to have your password. Because you're less likely to do the thing you say you're not trying to do anymore, right? So there you go. So shouldn't be any reason why you don't want to sacrifice something to show that I am genuinely apologetic. I understand I have to repair some things and I'm willing to do what it takes. Because if you're not, then it's going to show to the other person. You're not really that sorry. Look, you still trying to have your cake and eat it too, want your privacy or whatever. But it was your privacy that let you do this. All right, give it up for a while. You know, don't mean you have to give it up forever, but for a while. You don't plan on doing anything anyway. Just give it up. So that's one of those things. So now this person can't be abusive in a situation. Another thing, this person can't live in the past. You got to, when that person asks for forgiveness, you got to really let it go. Give them a clean slate. Now, if they do things in the present time or in the future, you know, you can bring to their remembrance that current situation, but you won't get to that point if you still treating that person like the person of the offense and not the person trying to repair it. It's a very difficult thing to do. You got to press at it, try it, commit to that every day, but it's what it takes. All right. And as hard as it is, especially for relationships, neither one can subtract the love, which is hard. But again, in relationships, and I'm just talking to the people that's trying to survive out there, just trying to make sure their relationships work. If you subtract love, you're failing at the end of the day, regardless of the offense. You're basically making the decision to go separate ways. Now, like I said, I'm not talking about being walked over or anything, but love is unconditional. It needs to show that. And these are the times where it's most important. You know, I'm already, you know, if I've betrayed it and I'm really feeling bad about it, guilty, asking for forgiveness and things like that, that person's going to feel less of themselves. Now, watch the unfair part about it. As soon as you show that love, that person realizes how great a person you are, and they feel the conviction off their shoulders, so they feel a lot better. But you're still grieving from the betrayed trust. But now it's their responsibility to love you through that longer process, though. So they don't win, because now they still got to hold up their end and love you through that whole healing process. So as you can see, it takes a lot. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes selflessness. All right. If you're going to be the accuser because of the offense, you won't survive your relationship. You're going to kill that relationship just as much as their offense did. So if you're going to play that role, knowing you might as well just go separate ways to be harsh about it. Because, I mean, you're killing it just as much as they were. So if you really want to commit to reestablishing trust, you have to do just that. Wipe the slate clean, put some boundaries up, and work together. Don't put it all on one person or the other. Be responsible individuals and heal through that process together, and see just how strong you all are together and how much you actually can overcome. And like I said, if you're doing your part, it gives you, if anything, at that point, through time, you see nothing's changing on the end, at least you know you're doing your part. So if you want to go a separate way, you've done that. Or, if you're really doing everything you can, but they just won't, at least, you're not subtracting. Because once you start subtracting, you're just as responsible. And that's a totally different blog. So I know I'm clear over the time, but I hope that helped. It's a very strong topic, very important one, because we just never know what the seasons of life will take us through. You want to avoid all kind of stuff, but, betrayal, trust happens in small forms and big forms. So that was a load. So anyway, I am BJ O'Neal, and I hope you have appreciated that revelation, and you take care. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
How do you reestablish trust when someone loses it?
I'm going to use this.
When they lose trust in you, what you do to get it back?
the Trotman.
The what?
The Trotman is other accent in only today.
Okay, all that Naomi's today. Okay, that's beautiful. Anything else you want to say?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Timmy, somebody help the man and it has a flat tire.
A flat tire? Oh.
This is the right tire. And this is the right tire. And this is the right tire. And this is the right tire.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I love you.
These you got sugar. And that one you got sugar. And these you got sugar.
Oh, okay. Good.
And
You're just
there's
doing
one
episode.
more.
Time up.